Okay, I let everyone in. Okay, Kevin, you can start.
Maria, are you going to do an introduction or do I just get going?
You're on mute. Maria, you're on mute.
Can you hear
You,
me?
you could just go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this online session. I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Disability Foundation and Connectra, for um, continuing your incredible work of networking and making sure that people know about all the resources that we have here in Vancouver. Um, my name is Kevin Jesuino. I am the artistic director of a little theater company called Theater Terrific. Um, and honored that we've been around for a long time and that we are pioneers of inclusive theater making here in Vancouver and in Western Canada. You can jump to the next slide. So my name is Kevin Jesuino. As I said, I'm the artistic director of Theater Terrific. I'm also an artistic director of a company called Traction, which is an eco arts organization. We do a lot of like climate justice based artwork. Um, a lot of my work is centered around engaging the public in the co-creation of work with me. And so I'm very much not into the idea that like I center myself in the work. I'm often in collaboration deeply and meaningfully um, with community members. My role with Theo Terrific has me working a lot with the accessibility community, and I've been fortunate to be working with them in different capacities over the past 3 to 4 years here in Vancouver. And I have also taught for All Bodies Dance Project as an instructor, and I find myself now at the helm of this theater company as an artistic director. My practice is often centered in theater or performance making and community-based practices. Jump to the next slide. So, for those of you that don't know, Theater Terrific is 40 years old this year. We have reached the age of 40, and that's something to celebrate. We are Western Canada's oldest disability arts organization. That's a pretty big deal, and I'm taking that quite seriously as I enter into this position as the artistic director. But it's incredible to look back and look at all the work that Theater Terrific has done in 40 years to make theater accessible. At its heart, Theater Terrific is about community. We invite people to be in relationship with each other and to come together and hang out, and then we make a show sometimes. So that's essentially it. You know, like we really are more interested in like building a trusting community of people that um, want to build up courage, that want to express, that want to share their story, and also want to find ways to collaborate and make um, rigorous, thought-provoking theater. You can go to the next slide. So these are some of our theater company philosophies, right? So we start off with the very simple idea of simple and complex idea of radical inclusion. We don't just accommodate, but we really want to celebrate that our access needs make us make better theater, make us better community members. Um, for being able to express our own access needs, but also to hear other people's access needs, and what they need in be able to make art. We really center this idea of collaboration, that it's not about one artist coming in and seeing a vision and making that vision. It's actually about negotiating and working with every single human that's in that room to be able to make the story that celebrates all of us, and thus that always does somehow allow everyone to have a spotlight moment in the final work. Now, our final philosophy is artistic excellence, and although I say that Theatre Terrific is grounded in community, the reality is that we're also trying to be artistically rigorous, and that we're actually trying to make work that is thought-provoking, but that it just happens to have mixed abilities, folks with mixed abilities in the group. So I've had this conversation with many of my predecessors of other artistic directors at Theatre Terrific in the past, and we are inclusive, but we also strive for artistic excellence. We're always in a state of adapting to access needs, but also inviting you to be bold and to challenge yourself and to rise up and learn artistic skills that you may not have had. And that in doing so, that vulnerability, that boldness allows the artistic excellence to flourish, and that the right story is told in the best way. You can go to the next slide. So some of the upcoming opportunities that we have are some classes. So we have classes and we have shows. So upcoming in January, from January 6th to March 10th, that's on Tuesday nights, we have 8 sessions, 8 classes in acting. So this is going to be like, working with a script, and working with 2 local actors, directors in town who are going to guide people and teach people skills in acting, looking how to look at a script and be able to pull out elements for character, pull out elements for the story, and to really talk about like what is the driving objective when we're in a scene. We're going to learn movement, voice, character development, improvisation. All of those skills will sort of be packaged up in this 8-week course taught by Adva Saudiak and Moniz Peters, who are incredible powerhouse female actors here in town. And yeah, they'll run for 8 weeks and will culminate in a small open house where we can invite your friends and family, and the scenes that you have been making and working on will be shared with the public. If we can skip forward. Our next class will be on Thursday nights, and this is actually a class that we're trying out for the first time in the winter. We traditionally have this class called Theatre Creation in the spring and summer, and that is inevitably what leads us to our summer production, which we present at the Vancouver Fringe Festival. This year, we're doing a bit of a different experiment. We're going to try to do a theatre creation class in the winter. And that's going to be exciting because we get to just play. We get to like come together and work through a concept and an idea. We're going to learn different ways of making theater. Traditionally, theater that we know of today has mostly been made by someone sitting at a computer or with their notebook and writing a play. We call that person the playwright. But there are other ways of making plays. There are other ways of making theater. Oftentimes, I call it grandma's basement theater, which means it's like if you can remember back to when you were young and you were in your aunt or your uncle's or your grandparents' basement and you were with your cousins and you're just putting on blankets as dresses and outfits and you're using objects as props, and someone is going to play the princess, someone will play the policeman, all these different roles, and we just come up with a show, and then we're like, hey, let's show our parents. Essentially, there's that method, right, of just like, let's make it together, as opposed to just one person writing the play. And so this theater creation class is really a place to like let us experiment in how we can make really good, thought-provoking theater. And so I'll be teaching this class. I'll be teaching this class and facilitating the creation of a new show for Theater Terrific, and inviting the participants in this class to be the cast for that show. So if you're interested in seeing how you can make a new show, this is the perfect way to go. And if you like our theater creation classes, you're always welcome to come back. We're going to be offering theater creation classes every term. So every term there's going to be a new show that we're going to make, and you can be a part of that. We can go to the next slide. Oh, so just to let you know, sorry, these two classes, the acting class, if you can go back, sorry. The acting class and the theater creation, the acting class and the theater creation class, these will be held, so the acting class will be on Tuesday nights from January 6th to March 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Christine Sinclair Community Center out in Burnaby. And then the theater creation class is going to be Thursday nights from January 8th to February 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Christine Sinclair Community Center in Burnaby. You can find all this information on our website, theaterterrific.ca. You can go, and of course, these classes are for all abilities, right? So if you do have any concerns about if your access needs will be met in these classes, I can guarantee you they will definitely be met. But if you have any concerns, you're welcome to email us. Also, low cost barrier. So do not let these classes do have price tags associated with them, but if they are a hindrance to you or a barrier to you because of your financial circumstances, please do not let that stop you. Please reach out to us. There's a website. There's an email on our website attached to the classes, and you can email us to let us know that you just can't afford it, and we will let you into the class. We really do. No one will be denied because of lack of funds. All right, next class. Next. So I just want to highlight some of the other classes that we have in different parts of the year. So right now in the fall term, which happens from September until December, we have a voice class. This year we're offering voice improv, which is, not necessarily how to sing. There are parts of that. The participants did learn parts of that, but it was actually more about how to work with a healthy voice. So even as an actor, you learn how to speak with a supported breath and supported diaphragm. And then once you know those rules, then you can start to play. And so in voice improv, they play a lot of improv vocal games that allow us to be experimental with our voices and allow us to sort of let loose and have fun while we're engaging in this performative voice game. All right, and so this class is already happening. You can't register it. If you are interested in this class, you'll have to wait till next year in fall, in September. And so next slide, please. The other class that's happening at the same time as voice is shadow theater. Now this one is magical. This class is teaching us how to use the power of light and shadow to storytell. And so we use different kinds of lighting and different props to generate these shadows on the wall. We often use sometimes colors or stencils and textures to be able to create the world that we want to make in this puppetry class. And then we also play with the idea of live theater within it. So we play with putting a real live body in relationship with these puppets so that the story pops off of the screen and we can start to make theater more magical. So again, shadow theater, voice theater, Those are all in the fall. So if you're interested in those classes, you'll have to wait again until next September. So just wanted to give you an idea of the classes that we have. So we will always offer an acting class. We will always offer a movement class or a dance class, and then we'll also offer a voice class. So those three are the sort of the pillars of a good trained theater performer: voice, acting, and movement. And then besides that, we also offer these theater creation classes. So these kind of classes where we work towards making a show called theater creation. Next slide, please. So I want to just take you back and like let you see what some of our past community productions are. We offer community productions, and we also offer what we call professional productions. So community productions is where we're engaging the community in the making of the work. And oftentimes that does come with a small paid honorarium. If they participate in the first term of theater creation, that show will then go on to be developed. And then that's when it's shared on a stage with lights and sound with the community. Next slide. So this past summer, we finished this show called Dance Floor Memoirs. And like all of our community productions, it started in the theater creation class. And so last spring, we started off thinking about what our stories are about being on a dance floor. And so all the people that were in that class came with their stories about their first dances, their last dances, the dances that they were taught, the dances that they were embarrassed to do, the dances that gave them strength and power. And we told these stories, and then we sewed all those stories together into this performance, this show called Dance Floor Memoirs, which we went on to perform at the Vancouver Fringe Festival this past year, and with great success. We got a lot of attention. A lot of people loved it. We were almost sold out every single night, and it was a story that brought both joy and a lot of emotions, because these stories were in our bodies, and it made us remember. And in hearing all these other stories, we saw ourselves. And that's really the true power of theater, right? Is that in watching someone else's story, I see my story. And therefore, I can be moved emotionally, physically, mentally by experiencing that story back to me. So Dance Floor's Memoirs was a great example of this. And it was actually one of the shows that I hope that we can keep, and that we can keep remounting. It went on to be presented at the Heart of the City Festival. And so these are 10 actors that signed up for a theater creation class in early spring. We started to just prompt them with some ideas. We finished the spring term with them presenting monologues. And then we came back in the summer and we sewed it all together into big production. We added lights, we added sound. We presented it at different venues, and we also toured it to different venues in Vancouver. And so these actors who started off as students really got the full experience of learning how to be a professional actor, how to put together a show, and also tour the show. And so it gave them a real experience of being professional actors. And a lot of these people who keep coming back, we have a good 5 or 6 participants who keep coming back to our class. They themselves call themselves semi-professional actors. And I love that, because it's really demonstrating what Theatrific is all about, is that we are trying to create access for everybody to be able to make and watch theater. And there's not a lot of opportunities in Vancouver for anybody with any kind of disability to be able to access that kind of work. We do have 2 theater companies here in town that create that kind of work. There's Glitch Theater, and there's also us, Theatrific. And even within that, there's still not enough for everybody. So we want to keep making those opportunities available for people. And if anybody is interested in that sort of development, always happy to chat about any sort of ideas that you have. Go to the next slide, please. Proximity was the show that we created last year, and that was directed by Lon Herschel, and featured also a cast of I think 12 actors, all with different access needs, different physical and cognitive access needs, and yeah, this was a really beautiful project around proximity and the space between us. It really talked about, the in between spots, not the radical ends of things, but the things that kind of bring us into common ground together. And that in proximity, we can relate with one another, we can understand each other better. So it was a really beautiful story about how we can come together as humans to address something that's really important to all of us, not just some of us. We'll go to the next slide. And so those are just two examples of shows that we've made, and some of the examples of the different classes that we offer. But here's sort of like a collage of pictures from our different projects and our different rehearsals, our different classes. And what I see in these pictures is just a lot of community. There's a lot of people and a lot of diversity of folks who each bring a special gift to the theater making process. And I have seen some folks that come into these classes, and it's the first time they're ever doing theater. And then by the time they're done 8 weeks, they're like, I want to do it again. And you can tell that their confidence has gone up. They feel more connected. They have a sense of belonging with community. They feel like they have tools to express themselves. And generally the confidence is like through the roof. So I would love to give that magic to every single human on Earth. But we're starting here in Vancouver. And so I really hope that you can become part of our community at Theatre Terrific. And if it's just to learn a skill and to build your theater skills, or it's with the intention of making this a profession and that you want to envision a future where you are semi-professional or professional actor for either stage or for the screen, then we definitely want you. But again, this could also just be about coming and meeting new folks and having fun while we make art also. It doesn't have to be about being professional. Next slide. This is a quote from one of our volunteers, Lauren, which it encapsulates exactly what Theatre Terrific is about. Theatre Terrific doesn't just put on plays. They build a community where every voice is heard and every story matters. That's what changes us. You don't need theater to be able to sit around a campfire and hear someone tell a story about growing up somewhere that didn't feel safe and knowing that they now feel safe in the place that they're at. That's just storytelling. That's just storytelling, and it's just community, right? It's community coming together to make story. And in that, we learn skills, we learn how to listen, we learn how to feel, we also learn how to express ourselves, and we actually become stronger community members in doing that. And so I want you to think about I invite you to think about the stories in your life that matter, and also the magic of theater and how theater just shows up every day in your life. If it's, just you observing people in the park, or it's like a spectacle that happened on the bus, theater is around us all the time. We don't need to go search far to see where conflict and drama happens. And so all of that is inspiration for coming back to Theatre Terrific and building magical theater that's also rigorous and thought-provoking that we can share with the community. Next slide, please. And so how can you get involved? You can join the movement. There are 3 different ways you can do this. You can either take a class, right? And the class, as I said, leads to the production of a show. And so we have our winter classes. As I said, we have winter classes. They're going to be acting, and then there's also theater creation. Our spring classes will be announced later on in the year, maybe closer to March, but I envision it will probably be a movement or a dance class, along with a theater creation class that will lead us into the summer production. So if you want to be part of our summer production, which goes into the Vancouver Fringe Festival, then you should definitely come and join us for our spring sessions. But if you want to get a teaser, a taster, join us right now in the winter for our winter classes. And just let you know, for the summer, when we take the show to the Fringe, there's so many more benefits. Like anyone that goes to the Fringe with the show gets an honorarium, a small honorarium, and also gets a pass that allows you to watch any show at the Fringe for free. I mean, just that is a huge takeaway. It's a huge gift. So there's a lot to sort of like allow you to be able to see free theater, but also engage with other artists from all over the country and all over the world who are presenting at the Vancouver Fringe Festival, and that you are also at that level of presenting work. So it's a beautiful little exchange that happens there. Another way to get involved is to volunteer. You can reach out to us at our info email address, and you can do that. You know, those roles range in different things. We have some office administration stuff that we can get done. There's opportunities to be on the board if that's something that you're interested. We always need some production support. And also at our outreach events, when we're trying to recruit and get other people involved in Theatrific activities, we always love to have some volunteers there because they're the best testimonials to the impact that Theatrific has had on their lives. And finally, if you can't do any of these, then please come support our shows. If you know that Theatrific has a show, come watch it. It's you're not only supporting live theater, but you're also supporting the actors that are on stage, empowering them to keep going. And maybe in doing that, you can also get some inspiration, and also maybe we'll see you in future productions. Next slide. So here's some information if you want to get in touch with us. Oh, I just realized I did not put there's a missing W there, but www.theatrific.ca is where you can find out information about all our classes that we have and also our upcoming productions. If you have any questions, you're more than happy to email us. This email is also on the website. And with that, I'm happy to, I'm not sure if we're going to go right to the end of the hour, but I'm happy to open up to Q&A. We can stop the slideshow. Yeah, and so I'm happy to open this up to questions. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to voice them. I'm not sure, are we in? Yeah, so people can just unmute themselves and ask a question if you have any questions. It's good to see some familiar faces. Hello, Allison. Oh, is there only 4 of us on here? Okay. Lori, Allison, do you have any questions?
It's Allison. I should actually cover my cup. Well.
Oh.
Yeah. For production, what does production entail?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are actually trying to develop, Theatrific has often, I'm going to answer this in 2 different ways. Through classes, we have often offered classes for the actor. So movement, text, acting, those are sort of the classes. Those are the classes that we offer predominantly for the training of actors. However, we have heard very often that like some people are interested in more of the behind the scenes stuff. And so things like design and technical production, right? Or even directing and stage management. So we are trying to develop some workshops. We're going to be offering, it's not announced yet, but we will be offering a set design workshop. So if anybody's interested in like set design, again, this is all for, with all access needs included. Yeah, some set design guys. So that'll be a 2.5 day workshop. So it'll be over a course of 2.5 days. And that'll be led by theater. We'll be announcing that shortly. But yeah, that's how we're addressing it through the classes. However, if you're thinking about doing it as a volunteer, that's a case by case basis, Allison. I think it's just a conversation we have to have, is like, because if you're volunteering, we want you to be fulfilled and also learn and gain something from it also, not just be doing all the tasks that we don't want to do, right? So if you are particularly interested in, let's say, like, setting up the stage or painting the set or helping with costumes, or then happy to have a conversation and try to direct you to the right person. The producer or the production manager would be the person who'd be overseeing all of that. So it's just about coordinating with them, about allowing them to give you tasks. But it all starts with a conversation to just understand, what do you want to learn? What skill do you want to learn? And then I'm here to mentor or create opportunities for any of you to do that. It's a good question. Thanks, Allison. Lori, did you say something? There was something in the chat, right? Oh, not offhand, but thank you. Okay. Something I will bring up is that we have this thing called the Emerging Artist Initiative, and I will just offer that if anyone that watches this or is hearing this has just a burning desire to create something, to offer something back to the accessible disability mixed community, then I would invite you to reach out to me. I think that my real vision is to try and do whatever I can to create opportunities for mentorship and or just create opportunities. So if you have an idea for a show you want to develop, or you have questions but you just don't know where to start in theater making, I invite anyone to please reach out to Theater Terrific, and just you can send it to the info email address, and just address it to me, Kevin, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you and see what I can do to help you in your own growth and development as an artist.
Are there any more questions for Kevin? I don't think so. If there isn't anything else, did you want to say any last words, Kevin, or?
No, I'm really grateful. Thank you for this opportunity to
Yeah.
come into this community, and also Rouser, thank you so much for your help, and nice to meet you. Yeah, the invitation is always open to reach out and talk to me.
It's been awesome having you, Kevin. So I encourage you all to, as he said, go to theaterterrific.ca to find out more about their programs, classes, shows, and upcoming productions. They're an awesome company and awesome organization, and we really look forward to seeing you all there. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank
I'll
you for
see you
coming,
on
everybody.
Thursday, Kevin, by the way.
I'll see you on Thursday, Allison.
Bye, everyone.